Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Nick Hederick.
And I'm John Blinn. Here's what's happening now. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away on Friday, surrounded by friends and family at her home in Washington, D.C. Ginsburg was 87 and passed away after a fight with pancreatic cancer. Ginsburg was a strong advocate for women's rights in the 1970s and served on the Supreme Court for 27 years. Just before her passing, Ginsburg said, quote, "My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced until a new president is installed," end quote. Ginsburg's death will have a severe influence on the upcoming presidential election. She was the leader of the liberal wing in the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice no longer holds control on the vote in closely contested cases. Ginsburg's vacant spot gives Republicans the opportunity to tighten their grip on the court, making a 6-3 conservative majority. A lead like this would give conservatives enough votes to prevail Obamacare and many other cases.
The Allegheny County Health Department reported 116 new cases of COVID-19 within the past 48 hours. No new deaths have been reported. New cases range between ages for 92 since March 14th. There have been 11,779 cases in Allegheny County residents and 370 deaths.
Robert Morris University has reported one student in isolation as of September 19th. Individuals in isolation have tested positive for COVID-19. The university also reports 22 students in quarantine along with 3 employees. Individuals in quarantine have shown symptoms for COVID-19 and are awaiting test results. Those in isolation and quarantine are doing so both in and on off-campus housing.
Allegheny County is set to open a walk-in flu vaccine clinic today. The clinic is located at 425 First Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh and will be open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Visitors must wear a mask and are asked to bring an insurance card if they have one.
Robert Morris University is currently working with Rite Aid to produce a flu vaccine clinic on campus. The decision comes after a message from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which emphasized the importance of an annual flu vaccine, especially given the circumstances created by the COVID-19 pandemic. Anyone 6 months or older should receive a flu vaccine, and any student interested in the clinic can inform the university by filling out a form they should have received in their emails. Any out-of-pocket costs will not be covered by the university. RMU will be giving away $10,000 in scholarship money during a virtual trivia night. The event will be held on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Trivia night will be hosted by Unpacked Q, an organization that provides all 9 Pittsburgh colleges and universities with the opportunity to compete and win huge giveaways. Anyone interested in the event can sign up through a link provided by the RMU Office of Residence Life.
And moving on with RMU news, the 18th Annual Actuarial Science Career Fair is set to take place from September 28th until October 2nd. 15 firms and counting have registered to partake in the event that will hold information sessions, interviews, and more. Cigna will sponsor the fair for the 2nd consecutive year. And 2 members of the RMU community were recently named as Women of Influence by the Pittsburgh Business Times. Vice President of Community Engagement and Leadership Development Peggy Outen and alumna Kenya Boswell were given the honor. A total of 26 women in the Pittsburgh area that showed determination and leadership in their respective fields were named winners of the award. And Robert Morris Athletics has revealed their brand new Unite campaign. The goal of the campaign is to unite current students, alum, fans, donors, and the neighboring community through the experience of RMU sports. Increasing student and alum support is also one of the driving factors behind launching this new campaign. Old Hat Creative worked with RMU in order to create this rebrand.
There's more going on in the world of Colonial sports than just a rebrand.
That's right. Let's toss it over to Ethan Morrison to tell us more.
Thanks, Nick. In RMU lacrosse news, the National Lacrosse League held their annual entry draft on Thursday night, and 2 Colonials had their name called early. Graduate student attackman Ryan Smith was selected 3rd overall to the Rochester Nighthawks. Smith netted 94 goals, 52 assists, good for 146 points. A few picks later, the Buffalo Bandits selected former Colonial midfielder Brad McCauley. In his time with the Colonials, he scored 28 goals, 4 assists for 32 points. On Wednesday, the NCAA's Division I Council made 2 announcements regarding the start dates and scheduling options for college basketball and football. In college basketball, official team practices can start on October 14th, and the start date for the 2020-2021 college basketball season will begin on November 25th. Teams also have various options in terms of scheduling. They can play 25 total regular season games with a 3-game multi-team event, 25 regular season games with a 2-game multi-team event, or they can play 25 regular season games. The Colonials are entering their inaugural season in the Horizon League after spending almost 40 years in the Northeast Conference. On the football side of things, the Colonial season is scheduled to begin on January 23rd, which means the Colonials can begin their preseason camp 2 weeks prior to the start of the season on January 9th. Robert Morris can play 8 regular season games during a 13-week period from January 23rd through April 17th. The FCS playoff field has shrunk from 24 to 16 teams. The tournament will begin on April 16th and conclude on May 18th. The Colonials were slated to compete as an FCS independent school during the 2020 season after moving from the NEC to the Big South. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, the team will make their Big South debut in the spring campaign. Now back to John and Nick at the desk.
And thank you very much, Ethan and John. Speaking of football, we saw what some might describe as perfect football weather this weekend.
So let's toss it over to Austin Bechtel to see if that weather is going to continue today. Austin.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It is getting a little colder as we reach the middle part of spring. Today's high is going to be 67 degrees with a low of 38. It is definitely getting colder. You're definitely going to want to bundle up starting later on tonight as soon as it gets dark. Humidity only 43%, and there is no % chance of rain, so don't worry about carrying around your umbrellas. Today's hourly forecast, it's going to be similarly temperature for the remainder of the day up until it gets dark out. 64 degrees at 3 p.m. and also 64 degrees at 6 p.m. And it'll be 54 degrees at 9 p.m. when the sun sets. Now back over to the guys at the desk.
Thanks, Austin. Coming up after the break, the airport is up for a busy week.
And although temperatures are cooling down, politics are heating up in western Pennsylvania. Stay with us.
Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stem is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
President Donald Trump will be in town tomorrow. He will be holding a rally in a privately operated hangar at the Pittsburgh International Airport. Doors for the event will open at 4 p.m. Anyone who wishes to attend this event should visit the Trump campaign website and register online. There are currently still some questions as to how Pennsylvania coronavirus guidelines will be implemented at this event. The President rally will not be the only action regarding the airport this week. The Pittsburgh International Airport will be holding its annual abandoned vehicle auction on Thursday. Only this year, it will be virtual. The airport reports that nearly 20 abandoned vehicles will be auctioned off, including a 2018 Chevy Camaro and a 2016 Cadillac Escalade. Bidders can register online.
And the state police are currently investigating a shooting in Westmoreland County last night. The shooting took place shortly after midnight in the 200 block of Fieldstone Lane, according to state troopers. Details are extremely limited at this time. And a man is in critical condition following a shooting at McKees Rocks yesterday. The The man was found at the 1100 block of Chartiers Avenue, with multiple gunshot wounds, according to the Allegheny County Police. The shooting is still being investigated, and anyone with information is urged to call the county police tip line at 1-833-255-8477.
With the election heating up in western Pennsylvania, the Moon Township Municipal Building held one of the first political rallies in our area. Across Pennsylvania gathered in Moon Township on Saturday to meet with their supporters.
If 2018 was the blue wave, 2020 is going to be the blue tsunami. We are going to go from the White House to the U.S. Senate to state houses around this country. We're going to put a majority in Harrisburg.
Quite a few big names attended the event, including Congressman Connor Lamb, State Senator Pam Iovino, Pennsylvania Representative Anita Kulik, and County Executive Rich Fitzgerald. The politicians spoke about the area's switch to blue during the special election in 2018, when local voters elected Lamb as their local congressman.
In March of 2018, when we shocked the world by electing a young congressman by the name of Connor Lamb, in a district that Donald Trump had won by 20 points. And it happened because people got out and worked.
Speakers encouraged residents to continue the enthusiasm from the special election in order to maintain Democratic success throughout the area.
So stand up straight. This election is our chance. Not just to win seats, not just to hold power, but to get these things done on behalf of the people that we represent.
The event was hosted by the Moon Crescent, Coriopolis, and Findlay Township Democratic Committee. Organizers of the event encouraged social distancing. Upper Manny Brothers in Robinson has been temporarily shut down after a tractor trailer came barreling through its doors. Emergency responders reported that the tractor trailer lost its brakes and crashed into the front of the restaurant at around 4 a.m. Sunday morning. Since the building was closed at that time, no one was injured, and it was also reported that the driver of the vehicle was unharmed.
And 2 people are dead after a single vehicle crash in Forward County last night. 37-year-old Christopher Suss was pronounced dead at the scene, and 28-year-old Natalie Nika Rosinski died at a local hospital. The cause of death for both victims was ruled as blunt force injuries. Investigators say that the vehicle was traveling south on Benola River Road and rolled after going up a hillside. Speed was believed to play a factor in the crash. A man is in critical condition after being struck by a Norfolk Southern train in Pittsburgh's South Side. The train was traveling near the 12th Street crossing at around 3 a.m. on Sunday when it struck the victim. The man was found with a head injury. This was the second train to strike a person in this region in a 12-hour period. The first incident had happened at 5 p.m. on Saturday when an unidentified person was struck and killed on the tracks near Clark Street in Hempfield. And to get more news regarding Pittsburgh, Moon Township, and RMU, be sure to visit RMUCentralMedia.com. And to see the latest on Colonial sports, you can check out ColonialSportsNetwork.com. Coming up after the break, Ethan Morrison is back in the Sports Center to catch us up on Pittsburgh sports. Stay tuned.
Doesn't see race. Love is love. What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
And welcome back to RMU Live. Both the Steelers and the Pirates were in action this past weekend. Let's toss it over to Ethan Morrison to tell us how the black and gold fared.
Thanks, Nick. The Steelers were trying to make it back-to-back wins this weekend as they faced off against the Denver Broncos on Sunday. Early on, the Steelers' defense was relentless as they got to Drew Lock early. Linebacker Bud Dupree was able to force a fumble on Pittsburgh's side of the field. On the Steelers' ensuing drive, running back James Conner was able to punch in a 2-yard run touchdown midway through the second quarter. Punt returner Deontay Johnson returned one to the house, but was called back for a block in the back. A play later, Pittsburgh got it back as Ben Roethlisberger connected with rookie wideout Chase Claypool for an 84-yard touchdown. The Steelers led by a score of 17-3 at the half, but made it interesting in the second half. A slew of penalties on the defensive side of the ball and some questionable play calling on the offensive side made the game a lot more closer than it should have been. The Broncos pulled back within 5 points late in the fourth quarter, but the Steelers' defense was able to clutch up with a sack in the red zone to ice the game. The final was 26-21. Ben Roethlisberger was 29 for 41 throwing for 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. James Conner had a bounce-back game after struggling against the New York Giants last week. Conner rushed for 116 yards and 1 touchdown. The Steelers have a meeting with the Houston Texans next week at Heinz Field. Houston dropped their first 2 contests of the 2020 campaign. Around the league, the injury bug has been running rampant as some big stars went down to injury yesterday. New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley suffered an ankle injury, which was later discovered to be a torn ACL. The San Francisco 49ers lost Nick Bosa with a torn ACL, Jimmy Garoppolo ankle, and Raheem Mostert knee in their Sunday contest against the New York Jets. The Pittsburgh Pirates enter their final week of the season after dropping 11 of their last 12 games. The Pirates lost relief pitcher Kyle Crick, outfielder Cole Tucker, and shortstop Kevin Newman due to injury, and are out for the rest of the year. 2 of the Pirates' only bright spots have been third baseman Ke'Bryan Hayes and relief pitcher Blake Cederland. Hayes has been on fire since being called up from the alternate training site. In 17 games, Hayes has a .310 batting average, hitting 3 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. Blake Cederland, in his 2 appearances, has yet to allow a hit in 2 innings of work, flashing a fiery fastball that was close to hitting triple digits. The future looks bright in Pittsburgh. The Pirates look to end their season on a high note as they enter a 4-game set against the Chicago Cubs and 3 against the Cleveland Indians. The NHL Finals kicked off Saturday night as the Dallas Stars took a 1-0 series lead after taking Game 1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning by a score of 4-1. Even though the Stars were outshot by the Lightning 36-24, the Stars were able to score 3 unanswered goals against the Lightning netminder Andrei Vasilevsky. Game 2 is tonight at 8 p.m. on NBC Sports Network. Both of the NBA's conference final series are in full swing as the Boston Celtics won a crucial Game 3 against the Miami Heat by a score of 117-106 on Saturday night. This brings the series to 2-1 in favor of the Heat. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals is on Wednesday, September 23rd at 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. The Los Angeles Lakers are taking on the Denver Nuggets and took the first 2 games of the series and winning the first 2 last night by a score of 105-103. Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals is Tuesday, September 23rd at 9 p.m. on TNT. That's all from me. Send it back to the desk with John and Nick.
Thank you, Ethan. Can't get enough sports? Visit us on Podbean at RMU Century Media to hear all sorts of sports-related podcasts, or tune in to RMU Radio Live by using the Radio FX app.
And coming up after the break, 117 dogs were rescued in Pittsburgh.
And local politicians speak out about the importance of youth voting. Stay tuned.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
And welcome back to RMU Live. Despite doubts regarding Halloween thanks to the coronavirus, the official Moon Township Facebook page announced that trick-or-treating will take place from 5 to 7 p.m. on Halloween. Organizers ask that you socially distance and wear a mask if you participate. Already, 262 people on the page have said that they are attending, with an additional 557 stating that they are interested in going.
For many RMU students, November will be the first time that they submit a vote for the president. However, some are wondering why their vote matters. Some local politicians tell us why.
Congressman Connor Lamb spoke out on the importance of using your vote and why you shouldn't take it for granted.
Well, college students should be voting because the same reason everybody should be voting, which is, people died for that right. Voting is a right, but it's also a responsibility, and we're not going to have a full democracy where people can trust it unless everybody's taking part.
Lamb went on to say that there is more to youth voting than just supporting one of two candidates. This demographic is voting to change the future.
We care about the long-term future, right? Like young people, myself, I'll include myself in that. We're not just thinking about the differences between Biden and Trump. We're thinking about what's going to happen with climate change. If college tuition is so insanely expensive now, what's it going to be like 10 years from now? We're thinking longer term.
Lamb is not the only government official to feel this way. Allegheny County Executive Rich Fitzgerald shared similar views on important topics coming up in this election cycle.
Well, it's important. This really is about your future more than about folks of my generation. The fact that this President Trump has put more debt, a higher deficit, a higher debt than any president in our history. And guess who has to pay for that? Your generation for the coming years. And he shows no sign of changing that.
Formerly a judge on the Court of Common Pleas for Allegheny County, Don Walco is now working to encourage citizens to use their vote. He believes that one of the most crucial steps in this process comes from the voice of the youth and encourages them to start a conversation on the topics they're passionate about.
Talk to everyone you know. I have a younger daughter who's a big environmentalist. She's talking to all her friends about the importance of not continuing to unravel the gains we've made in dealing with climate change, which the President, Trump, doesn't even believe exists. He still thinks it's a hoax.
Any student who wishes to vote in this upcoming election can contact the Office of Student Involvement or reach out to their local election office.
West Virginia University has temporarily closed their campus eatery Hatfields. The closing comes after COVID-19 exposure was reported at the dining hall. This is now the second dining area closed at WVU due to exposure to the coronavirus. The facility received a deep clean and was expected to reopen last night. And continuing with West Virginia University, the university spent roughly $4 million on extra buses. This comes after the personal rapid transit system the university uses was shut down due to COVID concerns. A reported 2,400 people take the bus between WVU's two campus locations each day. There is no word as to whether or not the PRT system will be back in January, for the spring semester.
Up to 117 dogs were rescued from unsanitary living conditions in Ross Township. A mother and a son who resided in the house are both facing 76 animal abuse charges, along with 20 counts of aggravated animal cruelty. Animal Friends, the organization that took the dogs in, says that this is the biggest rescue that they have ever seen. Police said that the smell of ammonia was so strong that officers had to wear protective suits with oxygen tanks in order to enter the home. Famed pizza reviewer and founder of pop culture website Dave Portnoy recently reviewed several pizza places in Pittsburgh. Portnoy featured Beto's Pizza, Fiore's Pizza, and on his show, as well as Giuliano's in Robinson. His show is known as One Bite with Davey Page Views and features Portnoy simply trying out one slice and rating it on a scale of 1 to 10. He was allegedly impressed with all of the restaurants he went to. With the South still reeling from Hurricane Sally, it now must brace for Tropical Storm Beta. The storm is slowly strengthening in the Gulf of Mexico and is drifting towards Texas. The chances of the tropical storm becoming a hurricane did decrease on Saturday. It remains one of 3 active storms in the Atlantic. Galveston County issued a voluntary evacuation in response to the tropical storm. With bad weather raging in the south, Austin Bechtel, we're hoping that you have some good news going on in the Robert Morris area. What do you have for us?
Well, thanks, John. Weather is looking okay right now for us right now. It's going to be 67 degrees is the high. It's going to be a little warmer today than it is. So it's also going to be 38 degrees as the low today. It's going to be a little chilly. The humidity is 43%, and today there's going to be a 0% chance of rain. Also going on today is for the hourly forecast. We'll touch on it again. 64 degrees. The temperature at both 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. with a temperature of 54 degrees. Gets a little colder at 9 p.m. Now back to the guys at the desk. Or rather, tomorrow's forecast. It's going to be hotter than it is today, 70 degrees, and it's going to be it's not going to be as cold for the low tomorrow, only 44%, and only a 10% chance of rain, so you won't have to worry about it raining tomorrow. For the 5-day forecast, we have a high of 72 degrees on Wednesday with a low of 52, and it gets hotter as the week goes on, rather. 75 degrees on Thursday, 78 on both Friday and Saturday with a low of 56 on Friday, and a low of 60 on Saturday and Sunday, 72 degrees. Now back over to the guys.
And to get even more RMU-TV related content, be sure to follow up with our other shows. To keep up with RMU and Steel City sports, tune in to Sports Talk in the Berg, Wednesdays at 5. Or check out Colonial Sports Center, Thursdays at 9:30. On Friday, be sure to stay updated on all things on and around campus by tuning in to RMU Focus. And also, make sure to watch the first ever episode of RMU Extra tonight at 7 p.m. The show focuses on everything going on in the entertainment world and discusses the latest in music, TV, sports, and so much more. And thank you for joining us for RMU Live. I'm Nick Hederick.
And I'm John Blinn. Stay safe and take care. We'll see you next week.